So we'll just say I'm doing my work and I come across a problem that looks something like this, and that looks something like this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're asking me to factor this? Are you kidding? And there's a freaking b cubed over here. Most of these I've factored have been squared, or if there's been like a higher power, there's been another b in it. This is just a b cubed, no other kind of b. Then you know you're kind of using that formula that we just talked about. That's up here somewhere. Whoops. So how do we actually use it? Basically, you're looking at this side of the formula, right? First of all, which formula am I going to use? Well, obviously this is a minus sign. We're using this formula here. You're seeing this side of things. So what you're seeing here is like something cubed, and what you're seeing here is something cubed. Don't worry about the fact that this is b and that's also a b. That doesn't matter. It's just like this is something that we cubed, this is something that we cubed, and the formula says when you have something cubed and something else cubed, it's whatever you cubed. It's whatever you cube, but you're going to square it. Whatever you cube, but you're going to square it. Whatever you're going to cube, you multiply it together. So the trick here first is to figure out what exactly did I cube to get 64b cubed. So you got to figure out what multiplies by itself 3 times to land you on 64b cubed, and what multiplies by itself 3 times to land you on 27. Hey, notice by the way I'm using a 27, not a negative 27. You might be wondering why I'm using 27 and not negative 27, because the minus sign will be taken care of by the fact that I've used this formula. So since I'm going to use that formula, I'm going to think of this 27 as just a positive. Alright, so what times what times what is 64? And what times what is b cubed? And really, you got to play around. You're not going to necessarily know, but I'll tell you this much. If I multiply something by itself 3 times and the answer is even, what I multiplied by itself 3 times was an even number, without question. This number, what times what is 27? That'll be an odd number, without question. So you might just start playing around, and eventually you're going to realize that that's going to be a 4b. So 4 times 4 times 4 is 64, and of course b times b times b is b cubed. So the thing that I cubed to get 64b cubed was a 4b, and then for the 27, it's going to be 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 more is 27, so the thing I cubed to get 27 was 3. Alright, so now that we know what we cubed to get 64, and what we cubed to get 27, we're going to go up here and use this formula. I'm going to start with a minus b. So that's going to be this minus this. A minus b. Then I got a squared. So we're going to square this thing. 4b squared is 16b squared. Then the sign will be the same. No, excuse me, the opposite. Same. Opposite sign is going to be a positive. And then we're going to multiply those together. So that's 12b. Whoops. And the last one's always positive, and it's going to be this guy squared, which is 9. So as you look at this stuff, that's all that's really happening. Like, we're going to look at these numbers, figure out what we cube to get those numbers. So that becomes a, that becomes b, and the formula is whatever a was, same sign, whatever b was. A squared, opposite sign, so since this was minus, this is plus. Multiply a and b together to get this number over here, and then always positive, that last number squared. Now the last thing I want to say is you might be saying to yourself, look, I could do all this, but I don't even know what I just did. Here's the deal, we're factoring this thing out. We're trying to factor this thing out. And when you factor something, you're finding two things that multiply together to give you this. So if you have any doubts about whether or not this is correct or what it was you found, take a minute to multiply this out. Take a minute to take 4b times each of these parts. Take negative 3 times each of these parts. See, now that I'm multiplying, I will think of this as a negative 3. And then when you combine like terms, you're going to see you get this thing back again. I'm actually going to do that in the next video. So, or you could do it yourself, and you'll see that when you multiply this out, you do get this thing back again. Good luck.